What is up, guys? Faces Gaming here. Welcome back to another tier list. Recently, been getting into a lot of tier lists again, as usual. As I did, like the last tier list I did was, of course, Street Fighter tier list. Last tier list I did for the perk tier list, I was from the Street Fighter tier list to be honest here. And then the other last time we did Zombie. This time we are sticking with the Call of Duty. We're going with Black Ops 2 weapons. And as you can see by the tier list that I have here, this one's gonna get a little spicy. So let's start from F tier and work our way up to S tier, okay? Now, as you can see, B tier has a lot of weapons, but we'll get there. Okay, starting from F tier, we have the SMR assault rifle. This gun just couldn't get in multiplayer. Just couldn't get it done, man. It was if you hit it properly and aimed high, or if you're playing hardcore, then this gun shot. But if you're playing core, just took too many bullets to kill, in my opinion. So that's why the SMR sits out here at the very bottom of D tier. Then the D tier man tier. The executioner sits in D tier at the top of D tier. Because, well, actually, now think about it, I'll put the S12 at the top of S tier and the D tier. The S12. Let's talk about the S12. The S12 is a fully auto shotgun, but it just didn't have the damage the other shotguns did. You know, it was probably the weakest. It was definitely the weakest shotgun in the shotgun category. Then we have the FAL, another gun that I didn't use outside of gun game. Didn't really like it that much. Just thought it didn't hang. Just thought it couldn't, compete with the other ARs. Probably because I didn't use it very much. And then we have the executioner, probably the weakest probably the worst pistol in this game because, it's a shotgun pistol, but it still didn't do its job correctly. So that's why the executioner is down here in D tier. All right, let's get cracking with C tier. Okay, starting with the Type 25 assault rifle. This gun is solid, but the only problem is its recoil. Even with grip, the recoil is still a bit much, and its damage profile and its damage is inconsistent. Sometimes it's a 2 to 3, sometimes it's not. You get the idea. Up next, we have the QBB. I loved using this LMG. I love using this LMG, but I have to admit, it's definitely the weakest. It's definitely the weaker LMG. Although it has a very fast fire rate, it's not as fast as, say, like the Hammer, and it's not as strong as like the LSAT, but it still is a very solid LMG. Okay. Up next, we have the Chicum CQB. This is definitely the weakest SMG in the entire game, even though it was still a pretty solid SMG. Outside of gun game, if kitted properly, it's a very solid gun. But again, couldn't compete with the other SMGs. The RPG is down here just because it's an RPG. In the gun game, it's a fun weapon to throw. It's a fun weapon to throw, especially if you have flat jacket. It's a fun weapon to just run to a hard point, aim at your feet, and blow everyone in Kingdom Come. But in practicality, if you're outside of trolling them, it's not that viable, especially people are running flat jacket. The SWAT, outside of gun game, didn't really find much use for this gun. I did wind up using it a bit, but it just wasn't my liking. It's a burst gun, but again, just not my cup of tea. Up next, we have the M1216 shotgun, the cycling shotgun. Again, a little bit better than the S12, but not as good as it could have been. You know what I mean? Not as good as like the other two shotguns that we have on the list. And then we have the first sniper that I ever used, the SVG. Is it the SVG or the SVU? I can't remember. I think it's the SVU. This is a semi-auto sniper. This is the sniper that got me into sniping. Again, it's the weakest. It's the second weakest sniper behind the other two. If you get my drift. Then next we have the XPR, also brought back in Black Ops 3. This gun is another semi-auto sniper, but I had it at the very bottom of C tier because outside of gun game, I didn't really use it. The SVU was all I needed. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, next up we have B tier. I'm actually gonna move this up. Up next we have B tier. B tier are for weapons that are either are pretty much just solid, middle of the road choice, just solid. Either solid guns or basically trolley guns. Weapons, to say. Starting with the Hammer LMG. Loved this gun. Loved it. The only problem with this gun is not its damage, it's recoil. The recoil on this gun is very, very, very wild. Even with grip on it, it still is fairly wild. But if you have the skills to control this gun, let me tell you, this gun kicks. This gun destroys. Let me tell you. The same thing for the MK48. It's another solid gun. It doesn't shoot as fast as like the QBB or even the Hammer. It doesn't hit as hard as the LSAT, but still still a fairly solid LMG. Very solid LMG. Basically, put all the LMGs in Black Ops 2 I had maxed out in at least prestige once, because I loved running LMGs back in the day. Up next, we have the TAC. I'm actually gonna move this up to A tier. Actually, now that I think about it, more on that in just a bit. The 5.7, I'm putting it down. The 5.7's in B tier because like even though it's a solid weapon, it doesn't have the damage like the TAC, the Cap, or the P23. So it's the weakest. It's like the second weakest pistol in the game, but it's still fairly solid because it has a very solid ammo capacity. And with extended mags, well, if you weren't putting them down before, now you are. And of course, this gun can really go anywhere based on your trigger finger. If your trigger finger is good, it's up here. If not, it's kind of down here. But if you had a just right trigger finger, it kind of sits in the middle. That's kind of where I'm sitting right here. The KSG is down here just because I just didn't know how to use this gun enough. Used it a lot in gun game. And outside of gun game, I didn't really use it a lot. That's why I had the KSG sit here. I know the KSG for others is probably up here somewhere because it's a skill weapon, and again, wasn't very skilled back in the day. But now that I've got years of the AUG under my belt, I should be fairly good with it. Alright, Riot Shield is here just because it's a trolley weapon that I would use. I loved using the Riot Shield, ballistic knife, Riot Shield, combat knife, Riot Shield, crossbow, Riot Shield, pistol like B23 with like a tack knife. Basically love trolling with this. So the Riot Shield, ballistic knife, combat knife, and crossbow are all in B tier just because they're trolley weapons. And again, I should probably put the crossbow at the top of B because I actually got tons of kills with this gun, and it would be hard. I was in my room laughing at everybody I was killing, and they would just literally just like get mad. Bro, who's using that effing crossbow, man? Put that away. And I would be dying laughing, of course. The MTAR. Up next is the MTAR assault rifle. This is a pretty middle of the road. This is a pretty solid AR. Middle of the road, without a grip, recoil's kind of strong, and kind of a little strong, but with grip, it's not that strong. It's fairly manageable. Has good damage, has good clip size. It is a very all-around AR. It's the first AR I ever used in the multiplayer, and one I got very good with pretty quickly before I started using the other ones. And then it hurts me to put this weapon down here because I use this weapon so much. It hurts me to put this weapon down here, but I have to do it. I'm putting the Vector down here, and I have to put the Vector down here because it's the second weakest. The damage just ain't there. The damage ain't there even with fire. The damage ain't there unless you put rapid fire on there. Unfortunately, unless you put rapid fire on this thing, it just don't hit. All right, now moving on to A tier. A tier are for weapons that I enjoyed using in some form of fashion. Which, if you think about the crossbow, ballistic knife, and all this stuff should be up here, but not really. At the top of A tier, we have the B23. We have the B23 pistol. Easily the best pistol in this game. Easily one of the best pistols in this game, I should say. It's a 3-round burst pistol, and it has a depending on how fast your trigger finger is, you could delete people before they even know what. You can delete people with the B23 before they even know what hit them. And the fact that you could put extended mags and long barrel on this thing, oh, deliciously delicious. And plus, I just loved running around with the B-23. Of course, I just love this gun. Up next in A tier, we have the Peacekeeper. In BO2, it's classified as an SMG. This is the first ever DLC gun ever released in Call of Duty, and it was a very fun one. Without grip, it kicks. With grip, doesn't kick at all. You get the idea. Fairly is a very fun SMG to run around with. Very fun. Iron sights are clean. I didn't really talk about the iron sights in most of these weapons, but a lot of the iron sights range from clean to you need a scope. And most of these weapons, you do need a scope, of course. The TAC-45, a very good pistol. Again, if you got the trigger finger for this gun, you can delete people before they even know what hit them. That's pretty much all I have to say. The same thing can be said for the FAL as well, but I put it down there just because of my personal preference. Okay? Up next, we have the SCAR. This gun is a slow firing, hard hitting assault rifle, and this thing was hitting. Let me tell you, this thing be hitting. You have to put grip on it because the recoil is kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie, the recoil is kind of tough, but this thing hits, man. I love this SCAR. This thing hit. One of the many first guns that I had prestiged, of course. And right next to it, we have the M27 assault rifle. If you played Black Ops 3 or 4 and you use like the ICR-7 and the ICR-7 and ICR, like the ICR in those games, this is essentially the older brother of those guns. The M27 is a low recoil, low damage gun, but it is good. The iron sights are super duper clean. You don't need to put grip on it, and if you do, well, you're already taking a laser beam, making it more of a laser beam. And if you put rapid fire on this thing, oh boy, you're in for a good time. And then, of course, up next we have the MP7. This is probably my third favorite. This is my second favorite SMG. And I just realized the PDW isn't here. Yeah, I'm just realized the PDW is not on this list, but the PDW will go in B tier just because the damage profile. Like, it does a little bit more damage. It does a little bit more damage than the Vector and has more ammo than most other SMGs. But again, just doesn't really compare with like the Peacekeeper or the MP7 in my opinion. The MP7 just has a little bit more damage than the PDW, but funny enough, the PDW is like my most used weapon with the most kills on BO2, so I'll figure that out. Anyway, long story short, I love this gun. Love this gun. I had to put it in A tier because this gun is just really good. Up next, we have the DSR Sniper. This is my first ever bolt action sniper that I used after the SVG, and once I used it, I couldn't stop using it. The look, the sound, just like sitting in the back of Nuketown sniping people that crossed my scope was probably the most fun bits of time that I had sniping. And funny enough, for the DSR, I almost got gold. The DSR would have been the first gun to call it in my Call of Duty career that I ever got gold. But the Locust from Black Ops 3, I should say, actually took that. Actually stole that from the DSR, actually. And then right behind the DSR, we have the Ballista. The Ballista is up here because it's iconic. If you wanted a quick scope and sniper, the Ballista was free. It didn't hit as hard. It didn't hit as hard as a DSR, but hit somebody in the head, they were gone. I mean, they were gone. Remington shotgun, easily the best shotgun in this game. Easily the best shotgun. Had good range, and with long barrel, the range got even better. With long barrel, the range got any better. The range got really better, and they say the Remington is just a very fun shotgun just to run around with because I just love shotguns. I loved running around with shotguns. Riot Shield and a shotgun, let me tell you, probably some of the most fun I ever had. And then the round out A tier, we have the Scorpion Evo. This gun's fire rate is crack house. It's a literal crack house. It shoots so fast. You need a literal grip to keep this gun under control. If you don't have a grip, you are literally going to be spraying bullets all over the place. And because of this fast fire rate, its damage is out of this world. But it's still not the best SMG in the game. We'll get there in just a bit. And lastly, we finally reached S tier. Real quick, I gotta take a swig break because my throat is starting to dry. Oh, I needed that. Alright, we have now reached S tier. These weapons are the best of the best. The cream of the crop. These weapons, you saw either a lot in multiplayer. Not really, a lot of weapons you saw, almost every one of these weapons you saw a lot in multiplayer. But one of these weapons in S tier was so good that it had to be banned from competitive. So I'm pretty sure if you know your Call of Duty history, you know what good it is. Let's start with the M8. The M8 was the best AR in this game. Without question. I'm actually gonna move that up there right there. The M8 is easily the best gun, the best AR in this game. It's good in basically any situation. It's 3-round burst. It can drop people. It can literally get one burst like you wouldn't believe. And if you do select fire on it, you can turn it to rapid. You can turn it to fully automatic. Oh my gosh. Why? I mean, yeah. The recoil without grip was pretty controllable. With grip though, the recoil, oh my lord. You can literally map people. You can literally map people before they even knew what was going on. The same thing can be said for the AN-94. You could, with the AN-94 being the second best AR in this game, you could map people with both the M8 and the AN-94 without even trying. And good lord, let the map be Newtown. Oh my lord, people on Newtown would abuse the AN-94. Let me tell you, I was one of them when I unlocked it. Funny enough, this weapon was the first weapon I permanently unlocked, and let me tell you, I'm so glad I did because it made leveling up to Prestige 2 a heck of a lot more easier. Let me tell you. And up next we have the Cap 40. The Cap 40 is up here not just because of how I like it. It's just because this gun was so good in competitive that they literally had to ban. They literally had to ban this gun in competitive. That tells you how good this gun was. And this gun was fairly good. Why do you think it came back in Black Ops 4? The Cap 40 is a very good pistol. Easily the best pistol in all of Black Ops 2. Followed only by the B-23. Up next, we have the best SMG in all of Black Ops 2, the MSMC. This SMG is as good as the VMP is in Black Ops 3. The mobility you get with this gun is insane. The damage is solid. If you put F and J on this thing, well then, nah, you're just cheating. The MSMC can get you out of almost any situation. Literally, all these guns in S tier can get you out of almost any situation with ease. And then finally, we have the best LMG in all of Black Ops 2, the big boy, the LSAT. It's slow. Let me tell you, it's slow. You have no mobility. You have no mobility with this thing. But do you really need it when the iron sights are clean? The handling, the recoil is pretty low. And if you throw a grip on it, well then, have fun. And let me tell you, man. Nothing beats running this. Nothing beats being on Yemen, chilling in that middle square room, and catching people coming down the hill from militia spawn. Let me tell you, some of the best fun I had with this LSAT. Some of the best fun I had. I love the LSAT. Whew. Alright, that does it for this list. We are done. If I put the PDW wasn't on here, but I'd put the PDW in B tier because of his damage, like I said. But that's gonna be it with this Black Ops 2 weapon tier list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna give my voice a break. I'm gonna give my voice a break. So I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you guys later. Love you guys so much. Peace.